This lesson is a continuation of our previous lesson where we looked at configuring a virtual host for Apache. We are now going to go ahead and actually install the acme.sh client, and we're going to use that to request a certificate and then install the certificate. So to install acme.sh, cd to your home directory for the user root, and then we want to run curl https get.acme.sh and then pipe that to sh. Alright, so that downloads a file called acme.sh, and once that is done, we just run source.bash rc, and all of these comments are located in the text file included with this lesson, so you can download that text file and follow along. Once that is done, we can go ahead and generate a certificate for our domain, and that's acme.sh --issue, and then we specify the domain, so code demo.gq, and we can specify -d again for the domain, and this time we add www dot, so code demo.gq, and we also specify the web root. The web root is the same as the document root, so -web root, and this is going to be var www code demo.gq and html. So once you have that, you hit enter, and this is going to go ahead and get a certificate from lest, and this is going to go ahead and get a certificate for us, and it was successful, and you can see the certificate is in it's in these directories here, so it's in root.acme.sh, and then the domain, it has the certificate, the key, the intermediate CS certificate file, and the full chain certificate. Now that we have that, we can actually go ahead and create a directory for storing our certificate, and that's going to be, we create a directory in etc. Let's call that let's encrypt. Now let's encrypt is actually the issuer of this certificate, so I'll just create a directory, so etc let's encrypt, and we could type in our domain gq. Alright, once that is done, we can then go ahead and install the certificate that was generated. So the command for that is also included in the resource for this lesson, so you could just copy and paste it, and just make sure you change the domain name. Alright, you can go ahead and paste that and hit enter, and it shows the certificate has been installed successfully. Then we want to go ahead and edit our Apache configuration file and specify the SSL host, and that file, it's in etc httpd conf httpd.conf. So go again to the bottom of the file. Alright, so at the bottom of the file, we could just paste in what we copied. Alright, so this is basically saying SSL is going to be running on port 443, and we still specify the same things for the server name, alias, the same document root. Then we specify SSL engine on. Then we specify the certificate file, the key file, and the chain file. Now, previously we had these lines commented out. We can go ahead and uncomment those. This simply means that Apache is going to redirect everything that's HTTP to HTTPS. So once that's done, we save this file and exit, and then restart. Apache. So systemctl restart httpd. Wow, and that's done now. So before we can actually use HTTPS on the browser, we need to make sure that our AWS security group has port 443 open. So we can head on to the AWS console, and once we go to the security group for the instance, you can click on edit, and then this time we want to add port 443. All right, and you can click on save. In case you did not watch your previous lesson on where we edited the security group, you can just go back to the EC2 dashboard, go to your running instances, and then for your instance that you want to change the security settings for, just click on the security group name, and then you can do edit and add the port just as we did earlier. Over to our browser and type in the domain code demo.gq, and it should be redirected to HTTPS, and there you see it. It shows that our SSL is installed, and now it shows connection is secure. Now in addition to this, we can also change the URL for WordPress so it uses SSL. So you can just append wp-admin, and then you can log in. And once we're logged in, we go to settings, general, and then change this to HTTPS over here. And then at the bottom, you just click on save changes. And this would of course log you out of WordPress because it didn't recognize your URL because it redirects to HTTPS, and you can log in again just as we did before. And there it is, we have WordPress running with HTTPS. And so in this lesson we learned how to configure a virtual host for Apache, and then we requested an SSL certificate and installed the certificate, and then we also changed the URL for WordPress to use HTTPS. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next lesson.